Hi, everybody. So we're so excited, and I'm Rachel, and my friend Conrado is here to do this.
Yes, I am right here.
Like a kind of a landmark movie for me personally, because I've talked about where I was in 2008. This was
hmm
actually, aside from Schindler's List, which I saw at school, this was the first R-rated movie that I'd ever really seen. I know that might sound
hmm
crazy, but my friends just loved it so much, and they were like, "No, you have to see it." And so I went and saw it, and I was blown away. And the thing about it that I realized is that you could have a movie that was mature, that wasn't necessarily offensive. Like those two weren't necessarily the same. Like I agree this movie is for adults, but it doesn't mean that it's necessarily garish and you know offensive. I don't know. So that
hmm
was actually a big moment. So then I realized, you know what? I need to decide for myself and not let the ratings board decide for me what I
hmm
see.
What I will agree with is your decision to not let your movie going be guided by the rating system and the MPAA.
Yeah.
And I think anyone, because that organization is a little whack, and I think anyone who is interested in movies and in watching good movies should really not be guided by the rating system's sort of arbitrary rules, really, about what is and isn't appropriate, and rather, listen to people who they trust, who see movies. Like maybe listen to you or to other critics or overall movie people, maybe a relative that they know that loves to go to the movies can tell them what the content is, because it goes both ways. There's a lot of things that are rated R that are more appropriate, and or that are not morally reprehensible or anything like that, and there are other things that are rated PG or PG-13 that I
Mm-hmm.
sometimes feel a little uh,
Yeah.
I have questions about. So I think
Agreed.
it's something that, unlike, I mean, rather like the education system, it's something that needs reform. So maybe when I fix
Yeah.
education, I will move on to rating system.
I actually started to research it and learn some of the things are so ridiculous. Like it makes no difference whether a couple is just an example whether a couple is married or in a committed relationship, or like is it like a one night stand, which come on, that's got to make some difference in like in the sensuality, like in the it's just got to
Sure.
make a difference. And that, but like there's ridiculous rules about like where the sheet can be on a character,
Hmm.
like ridiculous. There's like ridiculous rules about blood, which to me I just think is ridiculous. Like
That is
i
the thing that drives me crazy. Because
I
a
don't.
movie like Hitman, with just a couple scenes, like a little bit of blood, might get an R, and then
Yeah.
movies in which people are machined down by the thousands, if there's no blood, you get the PG-13. So it's, yeah,
Ridiculous. It's,
it's
I
it
mean,
is.
yeah, you can have a movie. I mean, they do it so movies like The Hunger Games or whatever
Mhm,
can, even though you have children killing other children, it can get PG
mhm,
13 because of this skillful way of the not showing the blood and stuff. And to me, like I think that's actually in a way sort of more violent
mhm.
to
Yeah.
have no blood because it's sort of dehumanizing the
Mhm.
the situation, which is in a way I kind of more offensive.
Yeah, I totally agree with you,
Yeah,
and it's changing, the human relationship to violence, really,
yeah,
because blood makes us react in a specific way
yeah,
for a reason. Like, it's violence is violent.
yeah.
It's has, when it doesn't feel as such, it's you can get into certain problems, I think.
Yeah. And I don't know, like language. I think that it's ridiculous that a movie like The King's Speech, for one scene that's for humor, is rated the same rating as like The Wolf of Wall Street with like
Mhm.
600 F words. You're like
Yeah, and
ridiculous.
yeah, and then you have the teenage movies with, movies about teenagers. I feel like most teenagers in America use foul language, and then they
Yeah,
can't really see these movies that are like, that speak to their lives, to their what they're feeling at the moment.
yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous.
I just think that you should be empowered. There's so many great resources out there. There's Screen It, there's the parental guidance reviews in IMDb. There's so many great resources that you can be your own MPA. You can decide for yourself what bothers you, because there are some people that really are bothered by language, and that's totally, I respect that, no problem. Then just do your own research and make your own choices. I do that. I didn't see Deadpool. I didn't see Logan. You know, like I make my own choices and I stand by them, and that's fine. And so, I don't, like, it's my choice. I'm not just relying on some nameless board to make my choices. So there you go. That's our little spiel about that.
Slumdog Millionaire, everybody. You can find me on Twitter at Coco Hits New York, or you can read my blog, which is Coco Hits New York. No, sorry. I always mess it up. CocoHitsNY.wordpress.com.
Great. Awesome. Well, thanks again. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews on iTunes and on YouTube, and on Smiling LDS Girl on social media.